Shay, Ma'at Hotep. This is the Truth May Hurt. My name is Raymond Witcher, and I will be your host. I'm going to talk to you about waking up is not enough. Getting up is required. Okay, you can wake up and still stay in your slumber. Okay, you can wake up and not accomplish anything. All right. So when we wake up and we get up and we get active in things, that's when things happen. Um, I think we're up to 103 subscribers now, so we're still gaining ground. Thanks for all the new subscribers. In the last 28 days, we had almost 70,000 views. Okay. Thanks for that. Please remember to hit the subscribe and the like button. Help me grow this channel. Help us grow this channel. This is our channel. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the circle, but I want, if the newcomers haven't seen this, please stop and read what's in the circle. I'm just going to give you a summary of it. If what I'm showing you, if nothing that I'm showing you is outside of the circle of your comforts, that represents what you believe, what you think, the things that you believe you know. If I'm not showing you anything outside of the circumference of what you believe, what you've been taught, then I'm not doing anything. So when I show you these things, it's going to be challenging. It can make you mad. It's probably going to stir up some feelings, some emotions, because we always want to defend what we believe, especially when we're talking about religion, especially when you're exposing the truth about what we believe. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. And why I'm bringing this up is because I get a lot of, I'm on a lot of platforms. I'm on a lot on Facebook. I'm on at least 20 different groups. And out of that 20, I would say at least 8 are religious groups. Okay. And I'm not on these platforms to try to insult anyone. I'm on these platforms to show you things that they're not showing you. I'm showing you things that are hidden. And I get a lot of feedback, okay? A lot of the Christians, when they comment, they're arrogant, they're insulting. They want to tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. You're going to hell. And all I'm asking for is, the first thing I'm not asking for is your opinion. I'm not on here giving you any of my opinions, and when I do, I tell you this is my opinion. Everything that I give you, I'm giving you objective evidence. I'm giving you the sources of my information. Now, if you're going to call me crazy, if you're going to say I don't know what I'm talking about, show your evidence. This is what this circle is about. All right? Instead of getting mad, get smart. Prove me wrong without your feelings, your passions, and your emotions, and show your evidence, and I will show mine. Okay, I've had to block a few people. I had to block one guy today. He was just arrogant and ignorant, and I only ask people biblical questions that if you are in Christianity, you should be able to answer these questions. If you're going to tell me I'm wrong, if you're going to tell me I'm crazy, if you're going to be insulting towards me, and I've asked you 10 questions, I've quoted 10 verses, I've given you the fact that the letter J wasn't invented until 1524. So how can you have a Jesus during biblical times and you couldn't even spell Jesus? That's a rational question. And if you can only look at me or come back to me with a comment that I'm crazy and the Bible talks about me and it says it's going to be people like you, well, the Bible says a lot of things. And it said everything that I showed you, like in Mark chapter 9, verse 1. When Jesus said, some standing here shall not taste death before the kingdom of God returns, where are they? That's the same Bible that you want to quote to me what you want me to see. But when I show you the things I'm showing you, it's too much. Okay, so let's be fair. If I'm showing you things out of the Bible, you should either be able to explain it to me or tell me how I am interpreting it wrong. Now, if you can do that, please show me. But if all you want to do is tell me I'm crazy and be out obnoxious, I don't have time for that. Okay, I will block you and we will keep it going without you. So I had to block one guy today, a black guy. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're black or white. I have a lot of white people that give me feedback and give me comments, and a lot of them give me very complimentary comments. Okay, I get more complimentary comments from whites and Latinos than I do blacks. And to me, that's just showing that we are more indoctrinated. Okay, but we are the most spiritual people on earth, so that kind of makes sense. So today, I got a comment back from a man, and it was very motivating. Okay, so I want to read it to you because I don't mind people coming, making comments that are opposed to what I've shown. I don't mind it at all, but I do mind it when you're trying to lower my intelligence by saying you don't know what you're talking about. You need to read your Bible and you need to study. You don't know me. Your only knowledge of me is what you've seen on Facebook or what you see on this channel. Okay, you don't know my experience, you don't know my background, you don't know how I get involved in things that I get involved in. I was a quality engineer for 27 years. My job was to investigate things down to the root cause, write a corrective actions to fix it, and write a preventative action so it never happens again. So you can't challenge me on that. If that's your foundation, you failed. Okay, so I had gotten some feedback from a brother named Andrew Jaquez Francis. Okay, he chastised me. He kind of questioned my knowledge of the Bible, this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. And I replied back to him. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I sent him Mark chapter 9, verse 1. I sent him Matthew chapter 10, verses 5 through 8. I sent him Galatians chapter 4, verses 22 through 24, which says that everything about Abraham and his wife, his bondsmaid, and their 2 sons are allegories, which means that it's a made-up story. It's right in your Bible. Okay, so when I replied back to him with these questions, and I asked, how could there be a Jesus before the letter J was invented? And these Bible verses, the brother hit me back and he said, well, first, let me apologize profusely over my serious wrong judgment of you, having assumed you have never read the Bible, how wrong I was, and how much do I apologize for that. Okay, after I had sent him these Bible quotes, and I'm asking him, if scripture says that these people won't die before I'm back, where are they? When he tells his disciples in Matthew chapter 10, verses 5 through 8, when he tells them, listen, go straight to the house of Israel, to the 12 tribes of Israel. Do not go by way of the Gentiles. Do not go by way of the Samaritans. And proclaim all the way to all those that can hear, you on your way to the house of Israel, that the kingdom of heaven is near. The kingdom of heaven is nigh. Both of those mean it's imminent. It's getting ready to happen right now. So he told them, don't go by the way of the Gentiles and the Samaritans because there's not enough time to tell everybody. So when I show these brothers these verses, he hits me back and he tells me, I apologize. Then he says, please forgive me. Please, I am so happy. I see how much you have indeed read. You will make a great disciple of Christ on the future. People who fit your profile usually do. I will pray for your protection, as Satan also knows this, and he will not, and he won't have it. The things you question, I see you have the sense to unravel yourself. Like no J means there could be no Jesus before J. You'll figure it all out. Things like some who would not taste death meant that those prophecies were coming true soon. You've happened already. You will get it all. I'm very excited about that. Nice talking to you. I will pray for you. So, all I'm asking you to do is use your common sense. You know, the church tells you, they don't tell you, but in a subtle way, they do tell you. By telling you don't need to worry about that. When you ask a question in church, they're going to tell you, man, you don't need to worry about that. You can't understand God, man. Listen, either someone has a reason for doing something, or they make an excuse for doing something or not doing something. And when you ask a question about what you have been driven to have faith in and believe in, and when you ask a question and the best they can tell you is, don't worry about it, you can't understand God, those are excuses. In order for you not to worry about it, they should answer your question. Then you can't worry about it. Then you don't need to worry about it. But don't dodge my questions and then chastise me because you don't know the answers. Okay? So I say thank you to Francis Jaquez. Andrew Jaquez Francis. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you acknowledging that I put a lot into this. Okay, and today I got a phone call from a brother, Poe. Okay, he's a veteran like I'm a veteran. I love this brother, okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. We had met on Facebook, never had met in person, but we had become friends on Facebook, and this is during the time that I was so sick that couldn't concentrate. I mean, I went 6 weeks and couldn't sleep. I went 6 weeks and didn't eat. I went from 125 pounds down to 156. You're talking about 70 pounds in 6 weeks I lost. I was starving to death. The VA had me on 20 different medications. They threw me out of the emergency room at the VA hospital and told me there's nothing else we can do for you. So one particular day when I was at the VA clinic for an appointment, now I'm at the end of my rope. I can't concentrate, I can't focus, I can't remember anything, I'm weak. I knew I was dying because I was starving to death. I was down to 156 pounds and I'm losing 5 pounds or more a week. So when I go into the clinic, I hear a voice say, "Ray." And I turned around and he said, "Ray, you don't recognize me?" And I said, "No, brother." He said, "This is Cole. This is Brother Cole from Facebook." And I said, "Oh, okay. And we exchanged numbers. And I'm showing you how, I'm telling you this to show you how our Creator works. God, whoever you want to call it. So I said, "Brother, here's my phone number. And I live right down the street. Whenever you're over this area, you're welcome to come to my home." Okay, because the brother was just so warm in his acknowledgement of me that I wanted to extend myself to him. That, because he doesn't live in my area. And if you're over here and you need to chill, come out of the house. So my mother passed from COVID 2021, March 2021. Okay, and it hit me hard. My mother was 96 years old. She was in great health, and she caught COVID, and she went through the slow process of suffocation. Okay. Now, I witnessed my father's death at 12 years old. He died on the 9th of September. My birthday is the 12th of September, and he was buried on the 13th of September. And it was something that affected me pretty much the rest of my life. But my father died quick. My mother went through like a 6-week process of suffocation. Okay, I was able to be in with her for 18 hours. But when she passed, it threw me over the edge because I had only had my mother since 1969. Okay, and the devil is active, and he came at me in every way he could to destroy me. Okay, I had a person from my hometown, because he loved Donald Trump so much, he told me that you, your mother, and everybody else that doesn't support Donald Trump is an ignorant idiot. You know, I'm glad that I wasn't in his presence when he said that. Okay, but I resisted all of these things, and I wanted to go to my mother's funeral, but I wasn't going to my mother's funeral and have to run into this guy that said this about my mother. Okay, and my sister refused to make the first hour for family only. So I didn't go because I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to do drugs. I didn't want to go down there and get in trouble. I was going to my mother's funeral. And my sister told me, well, you know, he has a right to be there just like you. And if you want to come, and if you don't. And it crushed me. Okay. So the night before, I called one of my childhood friends that I've known since we were 3, 4, 5 years old. She's very close friends with my sister. So when I called her, I said, Donna, please do me a favor. Can you please call my sister and help me convince her to make the first hour of the funeral for family only? Plus, COVID is running rampant. My mother died from COVID. I don't want to be around a lot of people. This lady told me, she said, first of all, let me tell you, I know how much you and your wife abuse your child, your daughter. I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? I mean, she chewed me out like I was trash. She couldn't even look at me or tell me on the phone, Raymond, I'm sorry you lost your mother. Raymond, I'm sorry Aunt Susie died. She showed me no compassion and went on an attack on me and told me and my wife, yeah, people have told me, even your mother has told me how you and your wife abuse your daughter. I relapsed that night. I started drinking and doing some other things, okay? And that alcohol made me get on Facebook and cuss out everybody. I mean, I was really talking some bad stuff. And this brother Arthur Coe read what I was saying, and he knew something had happened to me. Next day, my wife was talking to me, and I was laying in the bed, and she said, Raymond, who is this man walking up the driveway? And I said, she said, are you expecting somebody? I said, no. She said, well, it's a man walking up the driveway. And it was this brother, Arthur Coe, that I saw at the VA hospital, that I gave my number and said, if you're ever in the area, call me and come by. But when he read my derogatory and dangerous post, he called 10 veterans and said, here's Ray Witcher's cell phone number. Don't stop calling him until he answers the phone, and I'm on my way to his house. This brother came here. He brought me back to reality. Okay, and we became best of friends. So I'm telling you that this man is not just a veteran, but he's a great man. He's a great friend. He's one of the best friends I have, okay? So he called me today, and he said, Ray, brother, he said, you know, I just wanted to call and check on you, and you're doing some great work. He said, really? He said, I wanted to compliment you on the work that you're doing on your YouTube channel. He said, Ray, everything that you record and put on YouTube, I repost it. He said, because people need to know this. Okay, and we talked about some personal things and how difficult that it is. That's why I say is you just can't wake up. You have to get up. And what I mean when I say you have to get up is that when you get up, you get out of the things that you've been entrapped in. If you wake up and stay in what has entrapped you, you may as well stay asleep. You have to get up and you have to get out of that situation. Okay? So when it comes down to it, and we talked about this, one of the things that you're going to experience when you wake up and get up is you're not going to have a lot of people around you because most of the people are still stuck in it. So I don't want to stick too long on that, but I just want to tell you that I'm getting great compliments. The things that I'm trying to do, I'm making a difference. Okay? So I'm going to come here and then we're going to look at a couple things and we're going to get out of here. Okay, hold on. For people that haven't seen this before, come and read this. Just pause this and read this. But what the circle is showing you over here is we're never alone. We are a combination of every descendant that came before us. We are them, and they are us. When they died physically from the human experience, they went back into the spiritual reality of who they were before they were born. Because we are a combination of all of them, they are having a human experience through us now. So when we die, the physical death, see, when you're born, the physical death stops. I mean, the spiritual being, when we're born, the spiritual being stops. The human experience starts. When we die, the human experience stops. It ends. And the spiritual being is born again. Because energy can't be created or destroyed. Okay, so we have 2 grandparents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great, 32 great-great-great. And if you do the equation back 20 generations or 500 years, you have over 1 million ancestors, and that just goes back 500 years. So you're never alone. You're representing each and every one of your ancestors, especially those that were tortured and colonized, enslaved, oppressed. You're representing them. So when I tell you the things that I'm doing are more to please my ancestors than they are you, I mean it. When I say that I'm doing what I'm doing to make a difference in my descendants' life, that's why I'm doing this YouTube. Okay, I'm sharing it with you, but I'm doing it. All right, so I want to show you a couple things, and we're gonna go. Okay, I've mentioned in one of my previous recent videos is that the key to everything is Africa. And what I'm saying is, I don't care if you're in Jamaica, Haiti, South America, Dominican Republic, America, Germany, Great Britain. If you're black, we all have the same struggle. But it doesn't make any sense for me to be here in America and I'm trying to fight the black issues in America, and I have nothing to do with the black issues in Jamaica and Africa and Haiti. And it makes no sense for the people in those countries to just be involved with the black issues of that country. We have to focus on Africa. The 54 nations in Africa is the key to all of this. This can be put a stop to immediately, and it's starting to happen. I mentioned on one of my recent videos, all of the nations of Africa need to say, we're not doing any more business with Europe. We're not selling you any more of our gold. We're not doing anything with you, and shut them down. Do you realize that the continent of Africa has built all of Europe's wealth? They've built all of their armies All of the uranium that they built their atomic and nuclear weapons with came out of your ground. All of the uranium that they use to run their nuclear power plants came out of your land. And you don't have a nuclear power plant. After World War I, after World War I and World War II, how do you think they rebuilt all of Europe? How do you think they rebuilt Japan? With your gold. So your gold has given Great Britain, Europe, America, all of its wealth and power. They have rebuilt all of the European nations and Japan with your gold. Do you understand that France was so poor and so filthy that their sewage system was raising up the window and throwing the sewage out on the street? The groundwater was so contaminated you couldn't drink it. That's why they stayed so drunk. They drank wine. Your money put all of that infrastructure. Your gold put all of that infrastructure in France. Okay, so I read this today, and as of the 21st, which was a few days ago, no European countries were going to be allowed to purchase any gold directly like they had been. All of those licenses that they had to be able to buy unrefined gold directly from the miners ended. But they extended it, I think, to June the 26th. But Ghana, let me show you. So if you do a search on Ghana rescinds all licenses for gold, you come here and it tells you that they started their own gold processing called Gold Bond, Ghana Gold Board. Okay? Ghana Gold Board has announced a significant restriction of the country's gold trade framework following the passage of the Ghana Gold Board Act. Okay? So they're going to restructure it. And Ghana now is going to have its own gold refineries. They're going to be able to process and sell their own gold. Okay? And in the last 3 months, Ghana has profited at $3 or $4 billion into their economy. Okay? I'm just showing you this. You can come back and read it. But it's all in here. Okay? So what and Ghana's president did it because of Abraham Traore in Burkina Faso, because he shut France down. So Ghana said, we're going to do the same thing. All of the African nations need to do the same thing. South America needs to do with their diamond mines. Man, diamonds were so they had so many diamonds in South America that they used to tie tin cans with strings on it around the children's necks, and they would walk around and pick diamonds up off of the ground, and all day long you would just hear the diamonds falling in the can going clink, 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 clink all day long. And these Jewish bastards bragged how they didn't pay the children or the workers anything, how they would kidnap them and even kill them to pick their diamonds and dig their diamonds. Okay, well, all of this is getting ready to end. So what I'm showing you is Africa alone has the power to end every black person on Earth's nightmare. Okay? because now that they have cut off France's and Europe's and America's rights to their resources and minerals, they'll be broke because they don't have these natural resources. They don't have these things that they need. They've been robbing Africa. And the only thing these idiots had to do was treat Africa right. But here's the problem. They're so afraid of black people. And one of the ways to control us is to put us in situations that make us believe we need them to get out of it. You never need the people that put you in it to get you out. Okay? So they had to keep the whole continent of Africa as poor as they possibly could. And tell you, well, we're going to do right by you. And that's never been in your genes. And I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about these aristocratic bastards. See, greed is something you can never satisfy. You can never have enough with greed. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. You can't satisfy it. As soon as you see me with something that you don't have that you like, you believe that is your manifest destiny to take it. Okay, so all of this is ending. All gold trading licenses issued by the PMMC nullified. They're shutting them down. Okay, and what I'm saying is, just like they have the European Union of all the European nations, and they have NATO, you need an African Union of 54 nations that get together and say, all of us are going to do this. Okay, we're all going to do this. And personally, I would tell Europe, I would tell all of these European countries, including America, we're not doing any business with you directly anymore. And until you give us a reparations proposal, you will never be able to come into this country and have any direct buying rights of anything that comes out of Africa. Okay? And if you don't have us a proposal presented to us in 12 to 18 months, you'll be buying anything that you need to buy from us retail. Russia, China, Korea, India, Brazil, because we're not going to deal with you. Bring back all of the gold and all of the resources that you stole. Bring back the heads of our ancestors that you have stored in jars in your museums. Bring all of that back. We're going to start over. Okay? And plus, if they don't want to do it, fine. Take the loss. Because you won't last long. Your entire empire and the sustainability of your empire is Africa dependent. And we're not just, waking up. We're getting up. We've been trying to wake up for a long time, but there's a picture of Queen Elizabeth standing with an African on her ground and her foot smashing his head down up against the ground. You can Google it. Okay? And this little clown is getting ready to become the king now. What is his name? William? Because his father, I don't wish this man any harm, but, he's not going to be around long. And the king that's coming in after him is already saying, we need to decrease the population in Africa. You don't have any business in Africa. You've been kicked out of Africa. Stay out of Africa and stay out of Africa's affairs. It's not overpopulated in Africa. It's overpopulated in Great Britain. That little space that y'all live in, that's overpopulated. Africa isn't. Stay out. Okay? So I'm showing you that the transition has started. The economic transition has started. The spiritual transition has to start because we have to break away from this church. We have to break away from everything that was given to us during slavery and colonization. Jesus, listen, we need to do the same thing that they did. What did they do with the Library of Alexandria? They burned it down. What did they do with the books? They burn them up. Take the Bible, all of those pictures of Jesus Christ, take all of those songs that they sing, especially the little one that they sing to the children. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Take all of that stuff inside the church. Take gasoline and set it on fire. Burn them up. Burn them down. Listen, the last place a black person should ever be is inside of a church. God says, I don't dwell in temples made by hands. What are you doing in there? Talking about the Lord is in here today. And he said he'll never be in there. You crazy? Okay? So I'm just showing you these things. Okay, let me show you this. Well, let me just explain it to you. Black people that are either in the military now or that are considering or have a desire to go into the United States military now, I advise you not to do it. I advise you, if you're in there, get out. The reason I'm saying this is because we're still in a military for a country that the government still allows and won't make a law that racists can't call us nigger at will and get in our face at will. And if you do something to them, we're going to jail. So why are we going to be in a military fighting for somebody else's independence? Well, what they call somebody else's independence. It's not their dependence. It's not their independence that this country is going to try to help somebody fight a war. Because if they were, they would be in Somalia. Okay? If they were doing the right thing for democracy as they proclaim, black people in this country wouldn't still be confronted by being called nigger in 2025. It should be a hate crime to call a black man a nigger in this country, and they refuse to do it. Donald Trump is getting ready to send black people into a war for his ego. Why should you be dying to fight for this country that calls you nigger when you get home and have a president in the Oval Office that doesn't give a CHIT about you? Get out. Don't go in there. Listen, everything that the United States has technology-wise in their military, China has it. We have stealth bombers. China has stealth bombers. The United States Navy fleet was doing operations in the Southern Pacific Ocean, and a Navy submarine, you can look it up, a Navy submarine surfaced right beside the Navy fleet, and they didn't even, their detection and radar system didn't even pick it up. They didn't even know it was there until it surfaced. China has a naval base or a naval ship and submarine operation that's inside a mountain, so it can't be observed from satellites. So their technology, you don't have an idea. Well, you have an idea, because go online and look at the Chinese electric cars. It makes Elon Musk's cars look like exactly what they are, trash. That's why they won't let Chinese cars into America. The technology makes ours look outdated. So if they have that kind of technology in their electric cars, what kind of technology do you really think they have in the military? And see, we really don't have an idea, because Let me look this up. Hold on. Okay, the last war that the People's Republic of China was involved in is 1979. So that's 79, 89, 99, 2009. It's almost 40 years since China has been involved in any type of war. And that was with the Vietnamese War, and has fought only in relatively minor engagement since. 72 PRC withdrawal status, quote. So what I'm saying is, in the 250 years of the United States, it's only been like 20 years that they haven't been involved in a war or conflict or in some type of engagement. Okay? So when it comes to, okay, let me give you a few more numbers. China has 2.2 million soldiers. The United States has 1.2 million soldiers, so they have 1 million more soldiers than we do. Number one. Their soldiers aren't just soldiers, they're professional soldiers. That's all they do. They run up mountains. Have anybody ever seen, and I know anybody that's been in sports, especially basketball, what a crab walk is? That's where you have your hands on the ground, your feet on the ground, and you're walking like this. Their soldiers are crab walking up mountains. Okay? They're hand-to-hand combat ready. Okay? Our military personnel are soft. And I'm not being insulting. But the United States military depends on technology. It doesn't depend. If the United States military was dependent on manpower, they would have more than 1.2 million soldiers. So my point is that as far as manpower goes, they have 1 million more soldiers than we do that are more hand-to-hand combat ready than ours are. When it comes to technology, we're behind. Hold on, let me show you something. We are behind. Okay, just look at the Chinese subway stations. All right, buckle up. China introduces driverless subway trains. These are their drivers. They don't need their technology. Their subways don't even need a driver in it. Look at how clean it is. So I'm showing you, what I'm trying to show you is who has the advantage in technology and advancements, America or China? This is their subway station. Look at that subway train. Look at this station. I'm showing you this to give you an idea of how far more advanced China is than the United States of America. This is why the United States doesn't let these kind of Chinese products or any kind of Chinese stuff in America. You wouldn't buy American. This is their Chinese. I'm showing you this just so you can have an idea of the difference in technology. This is their subway station. All right, this is their subway station. Now, what kind of technology do you think they have invested in their military? Look at how clean this is. I worked for Amtrak high-speed Accelerail in Washington, D.C. This is their pit where their trains come in to be serviced. You see, you can walk down these steps here on the left, and you can go and walk under the train to inspect the train. It's the first time I've seen this picture. But I know what it is because they have the same kind of pits here in America for the high-speed Accelerail. I think that train runs 160 miles an hour, the high-speed Accelerail. And when the people that service the trains had to go down in the pit to service the trains, it's filthy. You look like you could eat off of these floors. Okay, so I'm just showing you, this is their subway station. A subway station in China. Okay, so I don't think we can even compete with them on technology. Let me show you something else. Okay, the top speed on the Chinese trains are 268 miles an hour. And look at their trains. So when you're talking about technology, there's no way that somebody can convince me that America is ahead. You're not going to see a train like this in America. I worked on the fastest trains in America that only run up and down the East Coast from New York to DC. They don't even go down in the South. So the Accelerail here in America, they only travel from Washington, D.C. to New York. Now here's the other thing. This train goes 268 miles an hour. And if you look at the track, you can't put that kind of speed on any kind of a track. Meaning, the trains that you see that are they're transporting cargo and grain and animals, those trains only go 60, 70 miles an hour. So they don't need an allocated track. So the high-speed rail train here in America that goes like 170, 180 miles an hour, it can't go that fast because they don't have an allocated track. They're using the same tracks that the freight trains use. So you have restricted speed because the track wasn't built for the speed. Look at this track. It is an allocated track that this train can go 268, almost 300 miles an hour. So when you're talking about technology that we can see China has, can you imagine the technology that their military has? And they aren't flexing, they aren't bullying, they aren't out here threatening anybody like Donald Trump is about how much bombs we have and all the technology we have. You can't imagine. Yes, I can. I'm looking at China's, and I know you don't have it. I know you don't have China's technology on the commercial scale. I know you don't have China's technology in the car industry. I see you don't have China's technology in the train industry. Okay, so you can't tell me or convince me that it's a smart thing to have to go up against China. China had a goal that they made 20 years ago, and they said by 2025, it's certain industries we want to be able to take over and be leading the world. You're looking at the industries that they wanted to be recognized in, and they became committed as a nation. See, because China is just getting their richness and their independence. And this is why America's mad, because China has grown so fast that they passed the United States. China bought 1/3 of the United States debt. Okay? They're upset because China is helping Africa rebuild or build their infrastructure, ports, seaports, and these kind of things. But what I'm telling Africa right now is you don't need China. Ghana has just shown you that in 4 months, they have accumulated $3 or $4 billion just from gold. If they do the same thing with cocoa, if they do the same thing with their other resources, if every nation does the same thing that Burkina Faso is doing and that Ghana's doing, you won't need to borrow money from anybody. If you build your own diamond processing plants, if you build your own cocoa processing plants, if you build your own coffee processing plants, your own gold, your own cobalt, you need processing plants for everything that comes out of your ground. If you do that, you won't need China to invest anything. Yeah, China and Russia, they have shown up as your allies, and you always want to show them favor. You always want to give them the best deals and the first rights. You see, the first rights that France has on, I think it's 14 nations that France controlled. Number one, France had first mind rights to everything that came out of your soil. And if France says, well, we don't want this, they could prevent you from selling it to anybody else. Now, you're talking about some cruel bastards. If you have coffee, if you have cobalt, if you have anything in any of the nations that France controlled, and France says, well, we got enough of that and we don't need it, and no, you can't sell it to anybody else, you're dead in the water. That's what they did. The other thing is, France only paid the African nations in French currency. French currency isn't worth anything in France. France does not use French currency. France uses the euro. If you went to France with French money and went on a bank, they would charge you to process it because it's worth nothing. It's worth less than zero. I'm just showing you how they run this game of Monopoly. Okay, let me see if I have two more things that I think I want to show you. Let me check. Okay, so I'm going to end this in a couple of minutes. I just want to conclude and say, this is why Africa is so important to every black person. I don't care where you were born or what your native country is. African Americans are born in America, Jamaicans are born in Jamaica, Haitians are born in Haiti, Dominicans are born in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Ricans are born in Puerto Rico, Mexicans are born in Mexico. It doesn't matter. When it comes to people of color, and I'm not just saying black people, people of color that have been colonized, stop focusing on fighting your individual fight in your native land. African Americans, stop trying to fight the fight in America. Haitians, stop trying to fight the fight in Haiti. Mexicans, stop trying to fight. There's only one fight that's going to win this, and that's Africa. If you have 54 countries, nations in Africa that are all unified, I guarantee you in 2 years, from that time, from the time that all 54 of the African nations have an African Union, and they're going at this together like this, and they tell all of the European countries, we're not doing no business with you. In order for any European white to come into this country for tourism, for safaris or anything, we're going to put a 500% tariff on you. Until you present us with appropriate reparations for everywhere that you've colonized and enslaved. And put a period behind, no, put an exclamation mark behind it. I tell them, you have 18 months. We're not going to renegotiate. We're not giving you anything. Bring all of the gold back. Bring all of everything that you have over there in stockpiles. France has the largest. France has like either the third or fourth gold reserve in the world. I think the United States might have the number one. Bring it back. You stole it. You didn't buy it. You stole it. And you're a thief. Now you make a decision. Keep everything you have and never get nothing else, or bring it back and let us do the right thing by you. You don't have any choices, okay? I'm gonna say ashe and have a great day, but waking up is never gonna be enough. Get up out of your slumber. Accept that we have been hoodwinked, we've been bamboozled, we have been run amok, we've been lied to all of our existence with the Europeans. You have to remember the United States Constitution was written and set up on the colonial system and policies. So when we hear Donald Trump saying we're going to make America great again, he's not talking about making it great for black people. America was never great for black people. He's talking about making America great again when we use the sweat off of the black people and got free labor. We were able to rule you and run you as our slaves. The statement, make America great again, is the most racist statement a black person could hear. It's racist. When was America great for black people? He didn't say make it good. He said make it great again. When has America been great for black people on a whole scale and as a ethnic group? Name it. They burnt Black Wall Street down. They bombed it. First bomb ever dropped from a plane was dropped on a black community that had become so successful in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that the white people got jealous. I did a presentation on it. Okay, now, we thought we won during the civil rights because we got to eat in white restaurants, but every black business went out of business. We put ourselves out of business. Now, ever since that time, let me show you really why it failed, and then I'm going to go. All of the black businesses that went out of business, they came up with a strategy and a way for us to never, ever have another black business in our own communities. Because that is the way they were going to keep us from building another Black Wall Street. You got to look at the psychology that's going on here. Why do you think you don't see any black businesses in your black communities? You see Asian. If you want to get your nails done, you got to go to an Asian. The only black businesses that you're really going to see in a black community is barbershops and beauty shops. You don't have any black nail salons. You don't have any black-owned stores. All of them are either Indian or Asian or Chinese or... We haven't had black businesses in our black communities since the civil rights movement. I'm not sure if you noticed that. Okay, but we didn't win shit in the civil rights movement. We lost, and they have had their foot on our neck ever since. They never let us have any more black businesses. People come into this country and get free businesses tax-free for the first 5 years, and we can't get jack. All right, I'm gonna say Ashe. Everybody have a great day. Okay, I'm gonna end this, but I want to say a couple things, and we're on. If you feel that winning was being able to sit in a white restaurant, go to a white restroom, drink out of a white water fountain, sit in the front of the bus, go to integrated schools, we won, if that's what you're counting. But if you're counting not being able to have a black business in our communities anymore, losing all of our business in our black communities, not being able to buy from any blacks, we lost big time, okay? Because that's what they said. We're not gonna let them build another Black Wall Street. We're not gonna let them establish any kind of economic power. We haven't had any economic power since the civil rights. So to me, we lost. Ashe, have a great day.